Hello, everybody. So I just decided to come on here. I've seen a few posts circling around the internet, and I just felt like in my spirit I should address them, but I wanted to wait until the end of the week to actually address them because I was kind of trying to wait for a few things. But one of them was a lady called, and I'm not even going to hit this biblical. I'm going to give you a perspective from a church slash and the pastors versus going at it biblically, because I want to give you a few insights. So some lady called a bunch of churches and she was like, "Hey, I need formula for my baby. Can you help?" And they're like, "Are you a member? This, that." And she complained because most of the churches wouldn't help her. Well, just to verify a few things. When we first took over this church and ministry, this was actually a scam going around. So I mean, I don't blame a lot of these churches, considering, because what was happening is people were calling, and a lot of them didn't even have kids. And they were saying, "I have no diapers, I have no formula," and then they were returning them and going and buying drugs with them. As pastors in a church, we don't have the ability or the system set up to the state to verify if they even have kids. So they can lie a good lie and tell you a good story, but it doesn't mean that they really need the help. So in order for a lot of churches to figure this out, it's like, okay, if you want help, you need to come to church, because one of the greatest things that I can do as a pastor to help you out is to share the gospel with you. That's my number one goal, is to share the gospel with you. Yes, I'm to love you like Jesus loved you, and he wouldn't want you or your baby starving. But I don't even know if you have a baby. And I don't want to be mean. It's just facts. Like, there was one or two people calling a day, saying, "I need help with food or formula." Honestly, it was a huge scam going around, and they didn't. And there's places around here that do help. Like, we have a pregnancy center here. There's WIC. And there's another place here that does help. And I believe Catholic Charities does too. If they still are. I don't know. I haven't verified it with them lately. So there are 3 or 4 places that do help with formula. And sometimes there's Salvation Army. They have the means for you to do paperwork and to look it up in a system to help those people. Unfortunately, I can't verify income. I can't verify if you have kids. I'm stuck. So my option is to tell you, come to church on Sunday and let's talk, right? Because my main goal is to get you saved. Once you're saved, and I know that you're willing to press in and willing to do something, show action for that formula, I'm okay helping you. But I want you to get into church so that I can personally have a one-on-one conversation with you and look at you and make sure that you are who you say you are, and hopefully verify and with your story, because you're less likely to, your story might have changed before you got in here, which I could, like, there's ways that you can tell when someone's lying when you're face to face versus over the phone, right? So first thing, I'm like, okay, come into church. Now, if it's a big help, yes, we do ask that you be a member. Some churches are big enough. They have a fund set up for outside people. Unfortunately, we do not. We're too new, and we don't have that kind of means to be able to do that. But we do the best that we can. We are constantly every day helping somebody. And that's why I didn't do this video yet, because I'm like, I want to go through my week. Because there's not a day that goes by that we don't bless somebody in this community. And they're not always in the church. We just do what we can. We're taking food, whatever. Like, yeah, we might not be able to help you with your rent, but I could bring you some food. I could go to the food bank for you if you can't go. Sometimes we go to the food bank and they give us, they call us and say, hey, like, we have an abundance. Come grab some for your people, those that you need. And we grab them for a couple of the neighbors. We grab them for a couple of the members. And we go in there and they load us up because they don't have room to store it. I'm okay doing that. There's a few people that they actually, like, sometimes they're working. They just can't go. I'm fine with that. That's something I'm able to help you. So sometimes help isn't what you ask for, but it's what God feels is needed. Or sometimes he sees if you'll take the little bit of help before he blesses you with the big help. One example here is there's been a few people that were ready to get blessed in this church. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. Boom. There was somebody that a new washer and dryer was coming to that needed one. And guess what? Some grumbling, complaining. They got caught up in the gossip crowd. Next thing you know, they're offended and they're mad and they're gone. And guess what? There was a new washer and dryer waiting for them. It just wasn't picked up. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm glad we didn't get it picked up, because wouldn't that have been a smack in the face if you pick it up, give it to them, and then they're gone, right? Sometimes blessings come through us, and other times we're able to bless people, but sometimes people give us stuff, and we didn't get to pick that up yet, but it came shortly after they left, and it went elsewhere. It's just facts. Like, sorry, you missed your blessing. You should have been where God called you to be. It's kind of like Thomas when the disciples came, and I did this video on it's part of doubting, but Thomas doubted Jesus, right? Because he wasn't where he was supposed to be when he was supposed to be there. If he was, he would have saw Jesus. If he was fellowshipping with the other 12 disciples, 11, because there was 12 and he wasn't there. So if he was with the other disciples, he would have never missed that opportunity, right? He would have been there. Boom. There you go. There's another person that they was going to get help with their rent, and guess what? Their face just never came back, and that person did not get help with their rents. Yes, we were able to help them a little bit with some food and some other things until that rent money came in, and we were ensured they were coming to church, and they came for a bunch of services, and they was ready to get blessed with some rent, and guess what? They got into the little grumbling crowd, and the same thing happened, and then they were gone. Boom. There's nothing I can do. It went somewhere else. Someone else got blessed because you didn't. Sunday, we gave out bus tickets. Well, actually, last Friday, 3 of us went down to the bus station. We took blessing bags, and we gave out a bunch of bus tickets with breakfast because people have had a hard time and during this season. It's always hard anyways, and then the whole food stamp thing, and it just kind of like made it worse. So, and sometimes people just aren't even financially having it. They just need someone just to cheer them up a little bit and give them something. So we went down there and gave the bags away with the free bus tickets. It's only one bus ticket, but it's a little breakfast. So you get a breakfast, there's a Pop-Tart granola bar in there and a little snack, So it was breakfast on the go with a bus ticket. A couple dollars worth, but it's just to say, hey, like, Jesus loves you. We love you. Here you go. We hope this tiny bit helps. People were so thankful and so grateful. Like, one lady was just like weeping and crying. It was amazing. Another thing is, the one girl we blessed, we ended up seeing Thursday. She works at the one nursing home, and she was like, I was just so thankful, and now you're here, and God's knocking on her. He's poking at her. He's like, get into church. And she has a friend that's been being poked at to come here too. And we're like, I think that's it. But it just opened the door for her, right? It's how God works. So even if we went down there just for her, it was worth it. Because then we ended up seeing her later on in a week. And she's like, I think God's telling me to come to church. She's like, if I don't work Sunday, I'll be there. He does this thing. He'll keep poking until you come, bring your warriors, go where you're supposed to go. But there's been so many incidences, like, they're like, oh, churches don't help. And then there's this other video, a few other videos lingering around, like, pastors shouldn't be working full time, it shouldn't be a paycheck. Do you know what a pastor does every day? And they should be in their word and praying. But do you know my to-do list every day? Do you know that most days from 8 a.m. till about 10 or 11, I'm going? Yeah, some of it is like my own dishes and making dinner. But in between dinner, I'm answering the phone call or doing something with social media, looking at emails. This is all while I'm making dinner. So, like, I might be making dinner for us, but I'm also doing other things. And as I'm like, doing some videos or whatever, I might be putting laundry in there and taking it out. But I'm still doing ministry. Like, it doesn't stop. You almost have to be full-time, unfortunately, because what happened is society has just destroyed the way that the family structure is, and both men and women are working. So there's not people to serve in the church like there used to be. The women used to be able to serve at the church and make food to take to the sick. Women used to be able to build other women up. Women used to be able to clean the church and do whatever else. And men, they would work Monday through Friday. Some of them were farmers, so some were available during the day. Some, a lot of men were available at night. Now the men are working 2 jobs. Guess what? That doesn't leave time for them to serve. That doesn't leave them time to help mow the grass or do repairs that need done or take out the garbage or set up tables and take them down. Like, the help is just not available that used to be, because people are sucked into this materialistic stuff that they have to have the best and all these little tinker toys. And so people are working 1 or 2 jobs. It's just facts. And now that results that the pastors need to take a paycheck and to work full time because they don't have the help that they used to. The whole family and dynamic structure has changed, and I don't want to just blame it on that. Pastor Rick and I, we did take a full year off because we knew we had so many repairs here, but we also had to try to build the church up also. And it was going to be too hard to juggle. So we took a whole year off. But before that, Pastor Rick made some money that we were living off of for that year. We've been here 3 years, and we have yet to take a paycheck off the church. In 3 years. I pretty much minister full time. Pastor Rick has been working. I've been ministering full time. Pretty much. Answering the phone calls, doing the emails, if someone has to come to the church, doing that, organizing everything, organizing the nursing homes, planning our events, building people up, whatever else may need done, because Pastor Rick's had to go to work. He still does stuff and he does his best, but I've been the one like organizing, making sure everything's clean, making sure this is done, making sure that's done. Sometimes I even had to mow the grass or get other people to come help mow the grass, whatever it may be. Like, that's all basically been coming to me because Pastor Rick has had to go outside and work. So a lot of the things he did then now falls on me. So that gives me like my work plus additional work. Just for an FYI, I'm not complaining. It's just facts of how things go. Now, there are some people, a few people, they help tremendously. They put a lot of time into helping. but we do need to, it does take a lot of people and a lot of work to keep this building going. For example, I'm going to go over just some things that we did this week, because Pastor Rick and I do try to make it a goal to bless somebody each day. And we have been trying to take as many Saturdays off as we possibly can, or at least fit some family time in on Saturdays if possible. When our one grandson was playing football, we tried making it to the football games. And that is important, because if we can't spend time or minister to our own family, how are we going to minister to you? Plus, we need a break. So Saturdays have kind of been that. And I know a lot of people are available on Saturdays, but unfortunately, when school starts, that's the only time our grandkids are available on Saturday. So that plays a little part in it too. But give an example. Sunday, when we did the bus thing, Friday, God laid on my heart and in my spirit that if you don't bless those that go to church, why are we blessing people on the outside? Like, we need to take care of the congregation, because that was the second time that we did that amount of tickets for the bus. So I kept some out. I knew approximately the amount of people that come here that take the bus. So I kept that amount of tickets out. I'm not going to say a number because it's nobody's business. And then what happened is only 3 of the bussers showed up. 3 people that ride the bus versus the normal which actually can be a large number sometimes. And so I factored that all in. What did I do? God's like, just divide them up. Divide them up, the ones that are here. The ones that didn't come, guess what? They missed out. It's kind of like doubting Thomas. Wasn't at the right place. Wasn't where you're supposed to. They weren't where they should be. God called them, told them to go. They weren't there. So we gave out the bus tickets. Pastor Rick did put some money to bless somebody inside of it. Monday, we had made some pumpkin rolls. There's been one of the girls at the lady's house. She knows how to cook, but she's not like confident. She hasn't really baked a lot, so we've been trying to help her through. What's happened is last week we made muffins with her, and this week I did pumpkin rolls, and a few of the ladies were here cleaning, doing social media, and helping bake pumpkin rolls, which was great. So we got some of them made. That will be for Sunday. For breakfast, we'll have some pumpkin rolls with our coffee. So we did that. That was great. It was awesome. Now I'm also taking the recipes that I've showed them, the ones that helped, and I'm putting it in a recipe box for them. Now, thankfully, this person is off on Mondays, so I'm able to do this. It works out in the schedule perfectly. So things are going there. She also needed a better job, and I encouraged her to apply somewhere that I knew was hiring, that was paying more, that was full hours, and she did get a job somewhere else, which is awesome. It's amazing. And now she's able to pay her rent because she couldn't with the job she had. Now, we also gave my daughter-in-law, dropped some clothes off here, and she also needed some clothes, so she was able to take a bag of clothes. Now, Tuesday, I don't remember everything I did. Actually, Tuesday is kind of blank, other than the fact I know we went into the women's house and we did a Bible study in there. Then we also picked up a fridge for somebody, a member/neighbor. We went into the one nursing facility, and Pastor Rick, actually, there was a salvation from a person that he has been ministering to for a while. Now, Wednesday, there was a produce giveaway, and I have these already done. Sorry, I'm actually reading them. In Newcastle, and what we did is we took a neighbor up there, and then I grabbed some stuff when we were waiting for Pastor Rick, and they actually asked us to take some more because they had extra and they didn't know what they're going to do with it. And I'm like, great, awesome. So what we did was we grabbed a little bit more, and we gave it to that neighbor that went with us, got blessed. Then we gave it to another neighbor who was so blessed, and this was a reaction, was like, thanks, I can eat without having to worry. And it's one that I do when we get blessed with food from the food banks, because the one calls us. we do take over. But that was the reaction, was thanks. Like, I can eat this week without worrying. Is that not like melt your heart? We took some to some of the girls, and one other person here that just recently they're going through a little bit of a finance thing. We actually were able to give them produce also because they had to work, which was great. Okay. Now, that day we also went into the nursing home, preached at night, and there was one salvation. A Thursday, we gave another bag of clothes away. There were still clothes left over that the first girl went, so we gave some to girl number 2. We actually went into a nursing home. There was 5 salvations, and that's when we saw the one girl from the bus stop. Awesome. I also made a big pot of soup from a couple of the cabbages from Wednesday. We gave it to a new neighbor that just moved in. And a couple, we didn't get to meet them yet, so we took soup over to them and blessed them. They were really excited. We took a few muffins over and some of the fruit cups that we had from the one food bank, and they were, happy. And we got to meet them. We got to talk to them. We got to invite them to church, which was great. It was a good way to invite them to church with a warm meal. And it's just about being friendly, showing some love. And the way they talked, they were fine, but it was needed and it was appreciated. Everyone loves a night off from cooking. So that gave us a time to get to know them a little bit, and that was nice. And, sometimes you just can't, you just got to give them that little extra special love, just a little bit of love to do it. We also gave one of the ladies here, she stopped to drop some honey off, and I gave her soup to take to work with her. So she had lunch at work, which was great because she oftentimes feeds us. So it was a pleasure feeding her. And, she might not have needed it, but everyone needs a day off, right? And she was working, and she always blesses us, and she blesses everyone else, and she goes above and beyond to help everybody in this ministry. We also gave another neighbor some things that was needed. Then Friday, went into a nursing home. There was one salvation. We went on the road and picked up somebody's a cake for someone. And then I helped the one neighbor. This is another neighbor number 3, with getting rid of her pumpkins and with a little bit of her yard work, because she has a hard time getting around. And they don't always have to come here. We help people that don't always come here either, because that's what we do. They're neighbors. We help them. We minister to them. A lot of them have taken salvation, even though they don't come in the church. And, we talk to them, and we've been really trying to make a relationship with the neighbors, because it's very important, whether they're in the building or outside the building. They need to know about Jesus. They live next to the church. We want them to be filled with the Spirit. We want them to know Jesus. We want them to feel loved from the church, whether they're in the building or not in the building. We want them to know that we love them and Jesus loves them, and that we do love them because Jesus first loved us. So that's our goal, is to, love the people here, but to love our neighbors. And that's how we love them. We help them all. We try to help the neighbors as much as we possibly can. There's another one that really had a lot of work that needed done in her house. And Pastor Rick's slowly been doing a few things. I did a few things, and there's a lot that we do and put in that people don't realize. And this is a light week. I'm going to tell you right now, just going over the few things, this is maybe an average week. Some week we do more help. Today there was someone here that goes to the church that just moved into an apartment. They needed a few items, and we had them. So I actually took them. They were going somewhere else to pick their stuff up. I took them with me. I took them there, and they are going to pick them up. They have them, they'll all be together. So we helped her also this week. So there is a ton of things that we do. Look, it took me 25 minutes to go through a lot of what we do and a lot of how things are behind the scenes that people don't know. Most churches get multiple phone calls to receive help a day. And you have to be able to have a system in place. It's not that you run the church like a business, but in a way you kind of do, because it has to have a business foundation, but you don't run it as a business. I know that's so confusing, but it's basically how it is. There's got to be a boundary, but there has to be a way to scan people and to see if they really do need help, because there's too many people out there scamming. Even our Cash App for the church, how many requests we get for money of people that we don't even know. Sometimes they're not even in the state or in the country, or, and messages on Facebook. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you come into the church? I don't even know if you're a person. Honestly, I don't. There's so many scams that there has to be a way to scan these people, or for them to. So when somebody says, oh, that church wouldn't help me, did you hear the whole conversation? Did you ask questions? Did they ask them to come into the church or to go to service on Sunday? Don't just knock the church. There's oftentimes things behind this, or maybe that church is max for the month. A lot of the churches only have an X amount. Unfortunately, most people don't want to tithe or give or help the church, which is another problem. And if you were tithing and giving, guess what? You wouldn't need the help, because God's going to bless you. Yeah, you might every once in a while still need help, but for the majority, you shouldn't need help if you're tithing your money and taking it serious and tithing your time and reading your word and diving in. It's just the way that it happens and God works. He makes sure all your needs are met. And I'm not going to go into this too much, but this is just how it works. If you don't grumble and complain because you don't know what that church said to them people. You don't know both sides of the story. We're all about helping people, but at the same time, I'm not going to waste people's money who sow into this ministry when we could go and do an outreach or take people bus tickets and breakfast and know that they're actually receiving it, versus somebody that's receiving, saying they need formula when they don't even have a kid. It's just facts. I don't want to talk bad on people. This is just how things are these days, and you have to make sure that you are protecting God's money, because it's His money. I'll give you money for gas. I'm not going to give you money for cigarettes. God doesn't want you smoking. He wants you free from that. People get mad. They're like, can I have 20 for gas? No. But if you need gas, I'll meet you at the gas station. They get mad. Were you really going to use it for gas? Y'all don't really know. And so I would just quit grumbling and complaining, because if you didn't watch my video the other day, God don't like it. He does not like it. I'm going to end it there. Watch the grumbling complaining video and just know that most churches are doing a lot and doing the best they can. And if you don't like it, maybe you should ask. Maybe you should get more involved. Maybe you should give more. Maybe you should see if there's a way you can set a program up to help them, versus being the person complaining about it and talking bad on a church. Because trust me, that's the last thing you want to do, because it's not the church, it's not the pastor you have to face, it's God. And when you talk about His church, He don't like it. The one thing He gets really upset about, and He's the one thing that I learned being in ministry: do not touch the church. That even means with your mouth and your words. Do not touch the church. And don't talk bad on the people that go there. Because when you do, your life starts shoop. I've seen it happen too many times. And you miss out on blessings. Don't do it. That being said, I love you all. Ask questions if you want to. It's all right. But just don't be grumbling and complaining. I'll talk to you later. Love you.